Bill O'Reilly. Welcome to the program, sir. How are you?
Don't try to give me any of this, Beck. Don't try to give me this welcome, however, And right off the bat, I have to correct you.
Yeah,
Epstein
you're not.
is dead.
You're not alive. What?
Epstein is dead. You don't know that?
Oh yeah. All right. No, I thought you were dead. Anyway,
you were referring to
Bill.
me. I
I get
That's
it.
just another brick in your wall, Beck.
It's good to talk to you, Bill. Tell me what you had a conversation with President Trump a couple of months ago, and you talked about Epstein.
St. Patrick's Day, he invited me to sit in on a cabinet meeting, which he does from time to time. And he said, look, we got files, Kennedy, King, Epstein, what do you think? And I said, well, first, Kennedy got put out pretty much everything, which he did. King, he didn't. I don't know why, because that's important, too. And then on Epstein, I said, you got to be careful here because this is now being used in political precincts. Both sides want to destroy anybody that was associated with Epstein. And the problem is that a federal investigation, they don't make a determination whether you had what kind of a relationship you had with Epstein. They said so-and-so had lunch with him, or maybe so-and-so saw him at a party. And I said, any name of a human being associated with Epstein in any way, that person's going to be destroyed. Because, the press is not going to put anything into context. So I said, but it's very important that the Justice Department tell the folks what they know. And you don't have to get specific with names, but you have to say, this is the information that we've compiled. And that's not hard. And I don't know why the Trump administration is not doing that.
Wow. So first of all, it's your fault that we're not getting any names. We learn a lot here.
Probably my fault, but the president.
No, you know what? I think you're right. I don't want all the names of the people. I want to know.
And I don't either.
I want to know the Justice. Right. I want to know the Justice Department has sorted through the things and then have gone through and said, this is criminal. This is not. These people are being indicted, et cetera, et cetera. But to come out and say there is nothing there, it's at least mass incompetence, at least from Pam Bondi. How could she come out and say, it's all sitting on my desk? And then when she doesn't release it, she says, well, that's because the FBI in New York is thwarting this process. There are people up there that are trying to keep this from me. And then she makes no arrests on that. We never hear about that again. And now all of a sudden there's nothing to see.
Well, listen. Pam Bondi doesn't make decisions on her own. No cabinet member does. All the decisions come out of the West Wing. So what I believe happened was Trump was so obsessed with the big bill, with Iran, with Putin, with China, that he didn't even think about this. Okay? And then it slowly began to unravel, and then it caught him by surprise. But this is easy to fix. So
easy.
If I'm in charge, and that would be a great thing for everyone except you, Beck, but every other American, if I were in charge, tremendous. You would be in Botswana.
No.
Right.
Oh, I know.
You would be on a plane on your way.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I'd be the ambassador of the white farmers in South Africa if it were up to you. I know.
No, you'd be wandering around going, I'm Glenn Beck. And they go, who? That's what you'd be doing.
That's every day.
So this could happen within the hour. Pam Bondi announces a press conference for tomorrow. At that press conference, sitting next to her is Merrick Garland, everyone, the Attorney General under Biden, who had this stuff for 4 years. Now, I understand that Mr. Garland has gone native and is living in Anguilla, but we can find him. We can pull him out of there and have him and Pam sit there and answer questions in a general way about what evidence the Justice Department of the United States has compiled.
Not going to happen.
That's it. Well,
Yeah,
if it's not going to happen, then President Trump is going to take a hit. But he's calculating that this will fade. It's not that important. But I don't know why he won't do it. I just don't know. And I'm usually pretty good at predicting what the president does or does not do.
So here's the thing, Bill. I think he keeps focusing on Epstein. It's not that big of a deal. It's not about Epstein. It's about justice. It's about can we trust the people? Correct. It's all about credibility and justice. And he's not seeing that, and I don't know how he's missing that. Because I agree with you. He's been so busy on so many other things that's
right.
This is not at the top of his priority list, but he did campaign on it.
Right, and I don't know if there's anybody inside the White House who are going to, he looks to be annoyed when this subject comes up.
Oh, I know.
And here's what works. People have to understand. A guy like Donald Trump runs it all. If he's annoyed, nobody's going to want to annoy him more. Okay? That's just how it works. But the overarch is, because Epstein got favorable treatment by the feds in the first go-around in Florida, that there's a deep suspicion about this case. But if you break it down, if the Biden administration had any dirt on any Republican associated with Epstein, it would have been out. And vice versa. If the Republicans had any dirt on any Democrats, now we know that former President Clinton was involved with Epstein to some extent. I don't know whether that's a factor. Okay, I don't know. But you're right for once. You're right. It's about credibility. It's about the American people trusting that we do have equal justice for all.
So what do you make of now the Russiagate thing coming out today or yesterday, the FISA court, the fact that they're now saying, hey, we need to hold Brennan accountable. We're like 5 or 6 weeks away from him, slipping past the statute of limitations. I mean, all these things are out today. There's that. There is also, let's see here, the Secret Service. I think this happened a year ago, but it's being reported as if it's new. Secret Service suspends 6 agents assigned to protect Trump during the Butler assassination attempt. I mean, all these things are coming out like, look, we're busy on all these things. And I do believe they're busy on these things. But it's like the Keystone Cops are in charge of the PR on this. It's bad.
Well, there's a lot of politics involved with both of those cases. Number one, in order to get Comey and Brennan to be indicted by a grand jury, federal grand jury, and that's the only passage, you'd have to have a whistleblower saying, yeah, these guys abuse their power. I worked for them, and they absolutely wanted to get Trump, and they knew the Russia dossier was phony, and they did it anyway. If you have that, Justice Department, then you can get those guys. If you don't have it, they will not even be indicted by a grand jury.
So how is it we do not have that Justice Department? Yeah, how do we not have that Justice Department?
Well, look, I don't know whether they have a whistleblower or not, okay? And if they have a whistleblower, I want the case to go forward. I want those 2 men indicted. You can't do that at that level. As far as the Secret Service is concerned, monumental screw up. Everybody knows it. They fired the moron who was in charge of it. That woman, I was just embarrassed listening to her try to explain anything. She didn't know what the deuce was going on. But this was across the board in the Biden administration. The assassination attempt was a year ago Sunday, this upcoming Sunday. And it is just another example of how the Biden administration was the second worst administration in the history of this country. People have no idea how bad it was. Every single agency was chaotic. Nothing worked. And this is just part of that. and we'll have a slew of stuff on Sunday. Nothing really meaningful. I mean, they suspended the Secret Service agents as they should have. They fired the director as they should have. The guy was a nut. I don't know if there's anything more to that. I doubt it. I'm more interested in the guy in the bushes because we don't know anything about him that they got before him. I'd like to know a little bit about him. But again, the federal government, it doesn't really matter who's president. They never want to tell us stuff, Beck. Never. It's always you got to pull it out of them. It's almost like Russia or something. Come on.
Right. Let me ask you. Let me take you back again to the Epstein thing. I noticed yesterday there were these people who are on the left who are taking tweets of mine that say, "Look, these things don't make sense on the Epstein thing, and they just have to be answered." And not anti-Trump at all. And yet the anti-Trump people were retweeting that, and they're trying to get the right to fight against itself again and split people away from Donald Trump. Where I don't think this Epstein thing is splitting people from Donald Trump, at least at this point. And my wife stopped me from answering some of those tweets yesterday because it's never good when you tweet in anger, which I did, or was going to. What do you think about how this is being used against the right to try to separate us even more?
Everything is political. Everybody knows that now. But the MAGA people, from the mail I get, and I get a voluminous amount of mail, they're not happy. Now,
I agree. I'm not happy.
Are they going to throw President Trump under the cliche-ridden bus? No. Because to them, the greater good is being served by a fair tax bill, trying to cut waste, dealing with Iran effectively, and hopefully dealing with Putin. That's another thing that's on Trump's plate. He's got to deal with Putin now. Has to. And that's going to be the next big story.
How's he going to deal with it?
So they're in Lavrov and Rubio are in Indonesia as we speak. And I assume that Rubio is delivering a message like, this is it. You either stop or we're going to just absolutely crush you economically, which the United States can do by saying no bank does business with Moscow. And if you do business, no matter what bank you are, we're going to put you out of business. Okay?
Yeah, I've only got a couple of seconds, but didn't we already do that under Biden?
No, we didn't do the bank. We did the sanctions. And the sanctions they can always get around because China's going to buy as much oil from Russia as possible. But you stop the banks from doing all business with Moscow, Putin's going to have.
Isn't that what the SWIFT thing was all about? Wasn't that what when we kicked him off of SWIFT? Wasn't that what that was all about?
No, because he can still doing huge business with countries buying his oil, and they got to pay Putin and Russia for the oil, and that has to go through the banking system. Mm. If you stop the banking system, he can't get paid.
Mm. It's amazing. I'm glad I'm not the president right now. I think he has made some very brave decisions, and he is walking a tightrope. I mean, the world is on edge, and
he looks very tired to me. He looks very tired to me. I haven't talked to him in a while, which is unusual. But you're right. You're absolutely right. But that's the second time you've been right in this conversation. My God, what?
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy.
World?
I was wrong about you being dead, but
right.
I don't know. It's good to talk to you, my friend. Is everything okay? Is everything going well?
Everything's all right, Beck. We are phenomenally successful, but that's old news. We've been that way for 50 years. But I appreciate you having me on your fine program.
Hey,
Stu
I love
sounds
you.
like he's still breathing, which is in some precincts that's good, right?
Yeah.
But look, I got a big book called "Confronting Evil." Of course, we sent it to you, and of course, you'll deny getting it. But that comes out September 9th, so put me on the dance card.
We'll have you on.
You're going to love that book.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can also find
Very
Bill
good.
on his YouTube page, youtube.com/Bill O'Reilly. Or is it The Walking Dead? I'm not. No, he's not even laughing. He's not even laughing right now. Maybe he hung up. Bill O'Reilly, great to have him on.